This is Deducter bringing you Scenario 3 of Grand Campaign 44. This is Jassy Kishinev. Battle in Romania, where in the spring of 1944, Germans successfully held off major Russian assault without too much trouble. And this scenario is one of the easiest of 1944, although the easiness of this scenario is compensated by the very tough second half of the scenario, which occurs much later. But anyway, basically, the plan for this scenario is pretty simple. The Soviets have initiative, they'll attack towards this location, Targu Frumos, as the mission briefing states. However, this strip of land is pretty narrow, so by placing my units cleverly, I can basically destroy the Soviets in this sector. Meanwhile, there will be a secondary Soviet attack centered around this area, but by clever manipulation of my units, I should be able to, depending on the situation, outflank the Soviets or do some other tricks, depending on the situation. The one thing I want to note is this, which I have a elite SE Grenadier here, or special unit, but it's not elite, rather. This unit has been around since, what is it, Kremenchuk, right. But I've been using normal reinforcements for it. In the difficult, in my mod, I adjusted the game such that normal reinforcements don't cause as much experience. Because in the default settings, basically towards the late war years, you pretty much have to use elite reinforcements as the only viable options to face the onslaught of Russian units. The way I have it set up is that normal reinforcements can be worth it to use, especially considering how expensive elite reinforcements are, 270 versus free, of course, at the deployment stage. The settings I have, elite reinforcements are 90% of the unit's base price in 1944, 100% in 1945. Basically, it's very expensive to use elite reinforcements, and during battle, it's always 25% higher. So it's the same as the difference between normal and elite reinforcements. Normal reinforcements are always 25% of the unit's base price during deployment stage. All of this, the technical details are not necessarily that important. What is important is, I feel, under the current system, all the different reinforcement options are viable. If you go for normal reinforcements, chances are the unit will stay at 1 star, or if it's really lucky, it might get to 2 stars. If you go for elite reinforcements, it is expensive, but you need to do that if you want to build up experience on your troops. And infantry in particular, the elite experienced infantry perform much better than the inexperienced infantry. You look at this unit's kill-loss ratio, 5 to 1, or that's more like 4 to 1. That's actually pretty close, historically accurate values, but unlike my other super units, which do a lot of damage every turn. So I can't decide whether I want to use elite reinforcements or normal reinforcements, because there is, it's not that I can't decide, there's no obvious choice here. Since I have so much elite infantry already, let's go for normal reinforcements. And if this unit should happen to get lucky and gain some extra experience, that's great. If not, this is a unit that I can often reach for normal reinforcements, and the SC Grenadiers benefit even at 1 star. All of their values will go up by at least 1, except for ground defense. And at 2 stars, close defense rather, will go up by 1 too. So it's a good spot, I think, considering how expensive the elite reinforcements are. And this is also that unit with the good transport. I might downgrade it, but it seems so nice to be rewarded with that I probably won't downgrade it. The other unit to note is that this pack 43 gun now at 743 kills. In 3 scenarios since Kiev, it's gained 200 kills. So this unit is clearly performing very well. This is another good scenario to use it. I don't think I'm going to overstrength it for this. I'll do that for the later scenarios, but this area is particularly good to use the anti-tank on. The fortification hexes in particular, AT units like this, are best on fortification hexes. But I digress. I also redeployed my elephant. It's very slow, but on this map where maneuverability is not too critical, its performance can be very good. So, without further ado, let's get started. Soviets have initiative. Soviets clearly have a lot to do for us. My troops are actually holding up to better than I expected. Alright, there is an opportunity here. Some of these Soviet bombers do not have escorts. That is a golden opportunity to shoot down some of these bombers. It's too good to miss. Alright. I can't send every unit I have against them, but I can send enough. Let us shift some troops around like that. Tiger tanks are particularly good defending rivers. Plan here is to shift the anti-tank gun via rail there, and I can shift some more units around via rail. About the only unit that's fairly hard to shift is that, but that's fine. So, I'll also continue transferring troops over. Next, let us consider what to do. This is too good of an opportunity for this. I have to take it. There may be some Soviet anti-aircraft guns. But this is too good of an opportunity to miss. That last IL-2 does not need to be attacked. I shot down 2 of the bombers. I'm pretty satisfied with that. Yeah. I will array the rest of my units in defensive formation. And I think that'll be good. Excellent. Transfer a lot of the other units on rail. So definitely want to cover these units with defenses. Then we'll cover this location. Next, we will start positioning some troops into close terrain here. Going on. All right. This unit can either sacrifice itself or normal reinforce. I don't see any point in even spending a prestige to reinforce it. Might survive 2 turns as opposed to 1, but not really that important. Might as well occupy the city again. Alright, let's see how this goes. Fighter trap worked out well. Soviet assault is fierce. There is an excuse me, there is an anti-aircraft gun there, alright. Okay. Wow, this is actually getting a little trickier than I thought. Okay. not do to allow the Soviets onto the fortification X. Now that would be very bad. I want to avoid that as much as possible. I need to hold that. Good thing I have a unit that I can use, and it is necessary. But so this, for instance, is a good chance to use the flak to kill off the O2, but it's actually a higher priority. I missed to finish off that fighter because I want to start bombarding this area. You can put the Panzer here. This unit here. Okay. Too bad the elephant is kind of stuck, but let's see. Conscripts, various random units. Alright. It is imperative that I deal with the situation here. It's a golden opportunity to do this. Alright, and now this unit will have no ammo once it attacks or once I attack it. And I might adjust depending on the appropriate situation. This is a good spot for a tactical bomber. But I don't know if there are any Soviet anti-aircraft guns out there. Very tricky. If I use the right word retreat rule, I can force that unit onto forest. 6. The odds are marginally favorable. Yeah. It's probably a waste of an artillery shot. No, this recon unit will stay on this side of the river to scout out. Fighter bomber. That can be a good choice. I am very worried about this fighter shooting through my fighter cover. Guess I could have positioned that unit slightly better, but nothing to be done about it at this point. You know what I can do? Well, should use this to cover the Panther. No, that doesn't make any sense. I have 2 fighter bombers potentially. This particular fighter bomber is not very worried about fighters. My odds are actually really good. Yeah, so it doesn't need an escort. That's my thought process there. So why don't I keep the Stuka in reserve? Send this unit over here. Send this unit over here. This, I haven't decided what to do with that yet, but here I can T-34, retreat onto the forest. Where is easy pickings? Meanwhile, we'll advance. Yeah. This is a very good opportunity to take out one of these Su-76. If I attack, I might not kill it. Yeah, we're going to escort the Stuka. Best units, like so. There's no reason to sacrifice this unit unnecessarily, so. Good, that worked out. Yeah, this puts me in range of too many good Soviet units. Like, the Panthers at this stage in the war is still close to invulnerable. That's not going to be the case, though, soon enough. Once the Bagration series of missions start, there is very little that is truly immune to Soviet attacks, except perhaps, well, the King Tiger, of course, and if you use correctly, Yag Panther or Elephants are also pretty immune to attack. But all the other units, the AI will be much happier to attack with. And Panthers are no longer invincible. So right now here I have some options. I could attack it and sacrifice a unit and force it to be out of ammo. That's a reasonably good choice for many reasons, because then I can mass attack it. I could move this out. I mean, this mortar is not going to do anything. This fort is also not going to do anything. I think the fort makes the most sense to sacrifice. So, this unit is now useless. Now I can attack it at leisure. It can't even resupply back. I definitely want to put my infantry in the close terrain here if at all possible. This unit will be kept in reserve. Bring up some more artillery. This artillery, I guess I might get lucky. And nope. Oh, one thing I want to point out is in my mod I've upgraded Sherman, the Russian forces, to be the Sherman armed with the 76mm gun, graphics notwithstanding. So this gun is very good. It has 16 hard attack and 10 initiative, compared with OT-34, for instance, only 12 hard attack and 7 initiative. Even one of the better models, it's not quite up to scratch. The 76mm gun armed Sherman are dangerous foes. They have lower soft attack because the 76mm gun was not quite as good. I think they tended to carry fewer high explosive shells, but much better at engaging armor. So these Sherman tanks are not trivial targets. Again, the SU-152, very dangerous unit. Its only weakness is like the same thing with ISU-152, 2-2 ground defense, for instance. That's phenomenal. That's the same as the Tiger tank. But its critical flaws are its low initiative and, even more critically, low ammo. This unit is now completely useless. I can ignore it as long as I keep 3 units around it for the rest of the battle if I choose. I have 1 tactical bomber to spare. Might as well attack this. The rest of my units will hold their positions, and this Panzer IV will have plenty of units here to defend. This Panzer IV will move out. Well, actually, yeah, can't quite decide what to do. I think we'll put my Panzer IV here as a sort of reserve, just in case, and we'll shift the Stug over. Just in case. Alright, let's see what the Soviets do now. Looks like the Soviets may be able to penetrate these defenses near the hills. Quicker than I expected. That's a problem. Very big problem. Well, situation is not that desperate yet. There's still good spots that I can take. Good thing I put that Panzer IV here. Alright. Oh, the cloudy weather has allowed this unit to refuel itself. Looks like I will have to kill it sooner rather than later after all. No problem. However, I do need to pause briefly to think. Yeah. Well, let me get some more intelligence first. There's a ton of artillery here. Which is potentially vulnerable to a flanking counterattack. But that would leave me vulnerable, which is no good. I gotta have to think about this. After some thought, I've decided what to do. The main question here is, do I want to move out my tanks for an attempt at either a pincer attack or even a one-sided attack against these units? A lot of artillery here, conscripts, very vulnerable. The answer is not simple. The advantages of moving out is that I can catch a lot of these units out of position and do damage. The danger of doing so is that the Soviets seem to have plenty of units in the fog there. I can't spot them. Weather is cloudy, so air support is limited at best. And at the end of the day, what would I really accomplish? If my units got caught out of position, that would be really bad. So instead, one strategy I can adopt is to wait and see what exactly the Soviets do, which I think can be a very effective strategy in this case. Plus, I finally want a chance to use this Ferdinand. So, let's begin. Outside of that, we're going to work our way this direction, like so. ISU 152, not a match. The stats of this gun are pretty much exactly the same as in default, by the way. I'm pretty sure the ISU 152 in the default equipment file does not have 22 ground defense. Pretty sure it has something significantly lower than that. But the only difference is this unit has slightly higher, I mean, what was it? Was it 7 or 8? This unit has higher ground defense and higher close defense, but so do all anti-tank guns. And that's it. The attack stats are exactly the same. Just need to know when is a good spot to use it. Next. Pick some more good spots to take. Seems like good a time as any. Okay, this has an attack hero, that could work. the same trick here. Need to make sure it retreats onto the forest. Wait, I should use the elephant. I haven't had a chance to use the elephant. Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. Then we retreat temporarily. I have no real interest in engaging the Soviets here just yet. We can wait. I have patience. They're both equally as good, but this unit could potentially finish out the Su-76. Which is a good cause. Spotting +1. Sure, why not? I'll take it. Take what I can get. If I put this tank in the forest, the danger is not the conscripts, but rather that my initiative advantage goes away. With 4 stars and 9 initiative, I can get a total of 12 initiative in clear terrain, whereas this unit, for instance, at 2 stars and 8 initiative, it will only have 9 initiative when it attacks. If I put it in the forest, they'll both be 2. So my massive 3 initiative advantage becomes 0. That's why, in general, with German units, you do not want to put your units in forest unless it's like an anti-tank gun and you can gain some sort of advantage from doing so. Just blindly putting units in forest is not the way to go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. This will do. Okay. Next, what was my plan? My plan is obviously not to sally forth, because I would have done it already. Instead, let's wait for more attacks. I am in no great rush. Set all these units to hold position. My prediction is that the Soviets will send a conscript to capture the SX. The rest of these units will either head towards the Hex or head west. Whatever the case is, I'll be in prime position to annihilate them once they've advanced further, or at least I should be. Meanwhile, let us see what I can do. Start taking out some recon units. Could actually do something like that, but no, I'm not going to vacate the Victory Hex. As you can see, these Romanian infantry, even in close terrain, are pretty useless by this stage of the war. Let's, however, do whatever we can. Right, the current defensive arrangement is fine. I could attack it, and I could probably prevail. Let us, though, do it from this direction. Alright, well, I'll finish it off next turn. There's no rush or anything. Panther should be fine. SC-152, not good on attack, since it doesn't get the initiative bonus. Leave this unit here to tempt AI onto the river. Actually, it makes more sense to try to tempt this unit onto the river. Yeah. Well, maybe not. We'll see. Still have a fighter bomber available. This U-76 seems as good of a target as any. Good. These defenses will have to do. Might as well refuel this unit too. And you know what? Why not? My infantry can buy a little time there. Plus, this unit still has 4 stars, even if it doesn't have the initiative bonus. It has a massive attack and defense bonus. The forest helps out with defense too, so. We'll recon unit. Guess we'll put it here. Alright, let's see what counter moves the AI makes. This works. Let's continue taking a look. Okay, conscripts, artillery. This trap has kind of worked. I'm satisfied with it. Some more Soviet air units are coming, and the Soviet penetration here is pretty thorough. Really want to deal with this artillery now. All right. Let me pause briefly to think. All right. Decided what to do. Step 1. Destroy that. Step 2. Conscript. Step 3. Move out the Tiger tank to attack position. Step 5. Start destroying Soviet units here, as well as I can. That'll include using some of these fighter bombers. Sherman's 76mm gun can at least fight back a little. Still not a serious threat, of course. This unit can't reach. This unit can't reach either. This unit can, though. Deal with the Su-76, no, Su-52 to some extent. There appeared to be nothing here to outflank me. So we will move out. Like so. Bit dangerous perhaps, but that's alright. Course. Continue pushing forward. It didn't force a surrender, that's okay. Seems like a waste, but I'm betting even that 12 strength engineer wouldn't face my unit, but I could be wrong about that. So let's hope I'm not wrong. Only 5FN. I don't like that. I'll transfer this unit here. I'm not moving out to attack it. There's no point. Normally I don't like sacrificing a unit to accomplish something, but in this case I'll make an exception. Next, a lot of artillery left, but no good targets. Trench my infantry in the rough terrain there, and there is little to worry about. This unit should almost certainly refuel. Alright, let's transfer the flak gun up, since that seems to be where the action's at. And we'll resupply that unit since I don't have a use for it right now. I do have one extra fighter. Put some more infantry here. Now let's keep this infantry back south just in case. Then what do I need to cover? What's the most vulnerable unit I have? Probably these units here. Seems unlikely that the Soviets will spot them, but nevertheless, best be careful. Looks like the Soviet tanks have been bottled up by the rough terrain. I was right. That's close though. That engineer had a +2 mass attack bonus on my elite infantry. I'm actually kind of surprised it didn't attack. No more crazy chances like that. Cloudy weather. Finally, the engineers could have some use. Alright. I've thinned the number of Soviet troops quite a bit. But I still feel like I need to transfer some units over to finish the job. As for this sector, as long as the elephant is there, I have nothing to fear. Aww. I know that there is at least one more big Soviet attack wave. It doesn't come for a while yet. I don't think it'll come on turn 5. There's a second group consisting of better units. In particular, there are some T-34, 85, and that's all I remember. I know there are T-34, 85, and there are quite a few of them, and those units can be dangerous. They are better than the Panzer IV, clearly superior, unlike the normal T-34. And they're not as good as Panthers or Tigers. However, they can and will attack Panthers and Tigers if the situation is sufficiently favorable, which is why I would prefer not to fight them, except in favorable terrain. It's not, I mean, eventually Soviets feel such massive quantities of T-34-85s that you just have to attack. Gone are the days of absolute superiority. That makes the most sense. Finish off the weakened units first. Next. Oh boy. So if you attempt to outflank the city, it's actually paying off reasonably well. Oh boy. Let me pause to think. Alright, I've decided what to do. This is going to be a little tricky, but I bet I can pull it off. The number one thing to bear in mind right now, oh, perfect kill, is that I don't have enough intelligence. I hate not having enough intelligence. I need to suss out what's going on over here. Looks like nothing's going on. Now's the opportunity to strike. Let's call in a fighter bomber. One attack should send this onto the river. Well, sometimes bad luck happens, that's fine. And irrelevant. Next. We try to enforce some of this surrender. Bad luck again. Also irrelevant. So I can't get the T-34, no problem. Bad luck again? Nope, this time luck is average. Good. That anti-aircraft gun is annoying. I'm gonna let the LA-5 survive for now. Next. After a lot of these easy targets. This part is tricky, and if not done correctly, very dangerous. But I have faith that I can do it correctly. Well, the odds are already pretty favorable. The idea is to take advantage of the right-hand retreat rule. But then again, maybe that's not what I want to do. There's only one infantry in this area. You know what? Let's do the simpler thing. Oh, but that removes my initiative advantage. All right, that's okay. Let's go back to my original plan. One hit kill. That works. I'm only able to do this because I am confident there are no further Soviet attacks, otherwise I have to cover this position, but there clearly do not appear to be any major Soviet challenges coming henceforth. Alright, I've destroyed most of the Soviets in this area. Then after this I'm going to have to decide what to do. We'll find a good safe location and continue to fight the Soviets in favorable terrain at least. This area is actually decent. Plenty of close terrain. Careful manipulation of this area should allow me to prevail. Yeah. Not sure what the Soviet fighter is going to do though. Alright, now for the last and arguably most challenging sector. T-34 is the major threat here. Even a T-34 will stand aside. If conditions are sufficiently favorable. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Using mass attack rules and my hugely experienced unit, I can get perfect initiative even on that. So yeah. It's not much to be worried about here. Once again, I'm in no real rush to finish this. I've already destroyed the vast majority of the Soviet troops. And I'll be able to finish off the remainder at my leisure. My infantry is having very good luck. Alright, turn 6. The AI may or may not choose to counterattack very soon. Switch to capture the city. Rain next turn. And the LA5FN, interestingly enough, dying itself is fairly unusual. Probably shouldn't have killed that. Oh, there was a good opportunity to force a surrender here. Damn. Too hasty. Oh well. Let's continue pushing the attack. Switch mode is so useful sometimes. Still have my fighter bombers. Send the best one over at the most dangerous unit, is SU-152. Damn. That was a really good opportunity to do a surrender. Well. Attack +1, that's useful. I'll take that. Oops. So phase 1 of this scenario is basically finished. There may be, there is another big Soviet attack coming, but I can pick the favorable terrain I want, plenty of time. The only critical thing is that it is a really good idea to seize the crossings over the Prut River ASAP, as soon as possible. Taking the crossings will limit the ability of the Soviets to cross this river and reinforce this last victory hex. They'll be stuck on the river and easily annihilated. Or they may decide to forego trying to counterattack there and head south somewhere. There's also a capturable unit here. Basically, if I can seize control of the river crossings, and there are only 3, I mean, effectively there are two since these two are so close together. If I do that, the rest of the scenario is trivial to finish. There are still a good quantity of Soviet units. I need to start sending troops over as soon as possible. That'll cut them off, and the rest will be easily outflanked or destroyed. However I choose. In fact, this cavalry is still useful for that. Meanwhile, I can start thinking about preparing a solid defense for any subsequent attacks. No need to go out and capture these flags. Not until the last Soviet wave is defeated. I don't want to get caught in bad position. Yeah, like a situation like this is normally very dangerous. I guess we'll entrench here. That's a good spot. Then I can move there. Still, see, this unit, for instance, can be very vulnerable to guards. 43, there are almost always a final wave of guards unit, and if I am not careful, it could be annihilated. Let me pause to think. After careful thought, I've decided upon the following course of action. How was I going to do this next? Right. I need to push ahead as fast as possible. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's no point in trying to seize control of the river crossing unless I can do it simultaneously, which may not be as easy as it seems. Probably shouldn't have attacked that unit. Now it's gonna reinforce. All right. Well, this is no good. Okay, I really counted on that unit to get destroyed, but well, this is no good. I'm going to withdraw these forces back. In my opinion, there's no point in trying to hold on to the forward location. instead, okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that's no good. Great. Great. I don't need to kill that engineer this turn, I just need to put a unit next to it to prevent it from carrying. Yeah, that seems like the wisest course of action. I'll deal with remaining units later. It's supposed to rain next turn.